Hello, welcome back to my podcast. This week, I have the podcast episode on my Spotify, which is going to be linked. Or if you're watching the Spotify, or if you're listening to the Spotify podcast, I'm going to have the video version on my YouTube channel. So that's new. But hi, how are you? Welcome. I am Pessy. I'm a health and wellness coach. I'm a certified personal trainer and nutritionist, and I'm just all about, mind, body, and soul well-being. And today I wanted to hop on and talk about unconditional love, unconditional self-love more specifically. I wanted to start off talking about why do we need unconditional self-love, and then I'm going to get into a little bit of what does unconditional self-love mean? And then I'm going to finish with how we can implement real unconditional self-love into our lives. So why do we need true unconditional self-love? So let's start there. We are married to ourselves in a way where we're not looking at ourselves like we're some friend that we could just get rid of if we're not treating ourselves right. No, we are in a commitment to ourselves because we are the only person that we're ever going to be for the rest of our life. You are just you, and that's it. You're stuck with yourself, and that's a good thing. So you have to be, we have to find that commitment within ourselves to show up for ourselves because of the fact that we are just going to be us until the day we're not, We can't give up on ourselves because our relationship with ourselves is forever. And that's how you should look at it. We are building a marriage with ourselves, and it's also you can look at it as if you're your own child, you were a kid once, and we were all kids once, obviously. We were all not even alive once, but now you're alive and you're growing, and you are still that little person that was born that deserves all the love that you can give to yourself. And it's just as if you had a child, and that child deserves unconditional love regardless of what the child does. It's your role as a parent is to give love. It's the same thing as your role as just yourself is to give yourself love and to give yourself everything you deserve, and just to look at yourself as if you are someone who deserves everything. We're our own life partners at the end of the day, and just as if you would give someone else, a friend, a partner, a child, unconditional love, you deserve that, and 10 times more, because you are you. Nobody else is you. Nobody else understands you the way you understand yourself. Nobody else sees you the way you see yourself. Nobody else gets to be in your head. Nobody else feels your feelings besides you. And that is a gift, and you are just you. You gotta accept it. Your soul is in this body. Your body's in this soul. That made no sense, but I want to put some emphasis on what does unconditional really mean. Because, okay, self-love. We could talk about self-love all day, Tell yourself you love yourself and take care of yourself, okay? We are all about that. But what does the unconditional part of unconditional self-love truly mean? Because unconditional means through thick and thin. Unconditional means through the disappointment, through the regret, through the bad times, through the judgment, through everything that is not always good and dandy, Not everything is always good and dandy. And it's easy to love yourself when you're in a good state of mind, when you have good things happening around you, when you're happy and having fun. It's good. It's easier to have self-love then. But the unconditional self-love comes in when it's not easy to give yourself love, when you're in a state where you feel like you're coming down on yourself. You're why did I do that? Or why am I like this? Or you're procrastinating. It's through the ugly. Unconditional means it's through the ugly. You're showing up, and it's you're allowed to feel, you should feel those feelings of, either if you're going through something and you regret something you did, you're not proud of something you did, you don't feel good, you're not feeling yourself. You're allowed to feel those feelings, and you should feel it. and you should hold space for those feelings, because a lot of times they're there for a reason. You're feeling regret for something for a reason. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just like all in your head. But like a lot of times, like when you're disappointed in yourself, it's like rightfully so. Like I could have done better, and that's okay to feel like that. It's okay to feel disappointed in yourself and still show up and love yourself. Like that's what that means. Like that's what unconditional truly means. Like you're recognizing the fact that you're an imperfect human being, and the fact that you're going to make mistakes, and the fact that and the fact that you, just like anybody else in your life, you mess up and you're not the best version of yourself every day, and you accept that because you understand that you're not perfect and you still love yourself. That's what unconditional really means. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. Like we as people, we're a work in progress. Like that's the whole point of the human experience at the end of the day. Like I think a lot of people need to really like double down on the concept that our life that we're living right now, like the existence and the consciousness that you're in right now, is simply like we're in school. We're learning how to live life, and we're learning how to be a good person, and we're learning how to show up for ourselves. And a huge part of being a human is like growing and like fucking up and like learning from what you did. And it's like recognizing things that we should change in ourselves, and like recognizing it without self-hatred, recognizing it without coming down on yourself. This is an example. Like let's say you really binge ate last night, or you were supposed to go to the gym and you didn't, or you are overworking yourself and you're not giving yourself a break, or like you talk to your mom in a way you are not proud of and you regret, or you do something out of character that doesn't align with you. It's like being like, okay, I recognize that I did that. I recognize that I'm not perfect. I recognize that that's not what I want to do. And it's good that I recognize that. I'm self-aware, and I recognize that those are things that are not, that I don't want to be a part of me, or that I want to work on. And I love myself for recognizing it, and I love myself for forgiving myself. You know, a huge part of it is just like really forgiving yourself and truly understanding, and being patient with yourself, because it's being patient and understanding with yourself that really combats that self like hatred and judgment. Because we really should try our best to steer away from like judging ourselves in a harmful way, like looking at ourselves like, ew, why did you do that? It's like looking at things you did in a more neutral perspective, like taking a step back and being like, I'm just a human with temptations. I'm just a human that has to deal with wanting instant gratification like everybody else does. I'm a person who has cravings and sometimes indulges. I'm just a person who has reactions and sometimes reacts in ways that I know I shouldn't be reacting. It's understanding. Super, super big part of it. It's like understanding that. Because if you don't understand that and you hold yourself to like a level of perfection, you will constantly be hating on how you're acting, because you're not giving yourself the space to be a human, basically. Being patient with the fact that, okay, this mistake could have happened multiple times, and like, that's okay, because change doesn't happen overnight. Growth doesn't happen overnight, and things require time and energy. And I feel like the best way to grow as people anyway is to just recognize yourself and be self-aware in a neutral state, and then from there giving yourself the encouragement needed to make a change. Forgiving the fact that you keep messing up, or that you messed up one time, or that you like repeatedly are trying to do better, but it's hard and it's a difficult journey to, especially when you're holding yourself to a high standard. But you're forgiving yourself, you're understanding, you're patient with yourself, and now you're showing up with self-love, like true self-love. You're holding yourself like a kid who's, like I mentioned before, like you're looking at yourself like you're someone who deserves to be imperfect, and you're someone who deserves the time to heal and grow and to live this experience. You deserve to hold an infinite amount of space for yourself. And a lot of the time, unconditional self-love looks like just showing up for yourself, standing up for yourself to others when it's hard, like being confrontational when it's hard. When you're procrastinating on things you need to do, it's in the moment, loving yourself to doing what you're supposed to do. Giving yourself that positive reinforcement and encouragement, like, okay, I don't want to get up, I don't want to do this right now, but oh my God, I love me so much, and I love where I'm going in my life, and I love the fact that I have goals, and I love me enough to put myself into a position where I'll be proud of myself because I deserve that. And it's like also like looking at yourself in the present as if you are loving future you right now, which you will be, but I'm saying like you're setting yourself up right now for future you to be like, oh my God, thank you past me for doing that, because I feel so much better. Like, let's say if you want to hit a workout, or you don't want to hit a workout, but you like want to hit a workout, but like you don't want to hit a workout, and you're like, okay, like I'm really unmotivated, and I really don't want to do this right now, but I know that if I do this now, future me, when I finish the workout, will feel rewarded, will feel like I did something good with myself today, will feel more energized, and will feel like I'm working, that was another step towards my goal. So why don't I take the comfort out of present me, because I love myself enough to be uncomfortable for my future self. So it's looking at the bigger picture and not only caring about you right this instant, like what feels the best, what is the most comfortable, what is the most gratifying in the moment, because we all know that long-term gratification is a lot more valuable than instant gratification, and instant gratification is allowed to be indulged in too. That's also very important to remember. Like, you're allowed to indulge in instant gratification. That's not a sin. I mean, it can be, but it's not a sin to like once in a while or allow yourself the leniency to indulge in instant gratification, because it's all about balance. It's more about understanding that it's not all instant gratification, because the things that bring us the most gratification are the long-term things that we're looking out for ourselves for. It's beautiful being in a state where you're like, oh wow, thank you to this year me, like every single step of me, that I put this time into this and this time into this time into this, so that right now I get to sit and look at where I'm at, where I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for me on every step of the way, looking out for future me, which is me right now. Like, I wouldn't be where I am right now with my health journey if it wasn't me throughout the entire health journey deciding every second that I was making a good decision for myself and my body and for my mental health, to be looking out for a future version of me that it's going to build up to, and unconditional self-love just looks like doing what's hard in the moment sometimes. For a lot of people, what's hard in the moment is getting up and doing a workout, or getting up and making food, or meal prepping, or looking at yourself in the mirror and saying you love yourself, or stopping a negative thought pattern and changing it to a positive one. Like, that could be what's hard for some people, and doing unconditional self-love means doing what's hard in the moment. But other people could look different. Like, other people could be all into their fitness and health journey, and they're all into taking care of themselves, and they're all into like developing themselves, but it's just nonstop, and you're getting to a point of burnout, and you're working your ass off, and what's hard in the moment is taking a breath to slow down, because I think it's easy to get into like extremes of either side of any spectrum, and I think you having unconditional self-love means recognizing where exactly you need some balance in your life, or where you need to work on certain aspects of your life, and then making that harder decision to be like, okay, well, I really want to work the whole day today and get no sleep, pull all-nighters, like work my ass off because I have all these goals and I'm so driven, but at the end of the day, I'm tired, I'm not getting enough sleep, I'm exhausted, I haven't gone out with friends in a while, like it's all these things. And for that person, that means really the hard thing in the moment is calling up a friend and being like, oh, do you want to come over and watch a movie? Like that's hard for them. So like my point with that is that the hard thing in the moment will look different for everybody, and it's like really analyzing yourself and understanding yourself, recognizing where you are like lacking when it comes to stepping up in the moment and doing what's hard. My last point with unconditional self-love is that you are not truly exercising your unconditional self-love if you are not viewing yourself in the limitless way that you should be. Like if you don't look at yourself and see how much you deserve by just existing, basically. Like you don't have to earn love and you don't have to earn kindness. You deserve it just because you exist and because you're you, and that's enough, you know? Like you deserve everything good in this universe just because. And until you really truly internalize that, are you really exercising your unconditional self-love? Do you really understand what unconditional self-love means? Just think about it for a second. Like if you ever catch yourself in a thought pattern that is destructive and limiting, self-limiting, and just negative, and you find yourself like good things coming to you and you don't feel like you're deserving of it, and you push good things away from you because you think you have to earn it, or you can't believe that something good would be coming to you, you are not exercising your unconditional self-love. Like you have to understand that you deserve everything in this universe and everything good ever, because you're you and you're loved by everything and you're loved by yourself, right? So say it with me. I am the embodiment of unconditional loving awareness. I exercise my unconditional self-love every single day. I love myself enough to the point where I don't look for love in other places, yet I accept all the love that comes to me. Yet I know I deserve all the love that comes to me, and I deserve to view myself in the most positive, loving manner. And I'm understanding and patient, and I recognize stuff I need to work on, and I recognize that I am just an imperfect being that is constantly working on myself, and I accept the fact that I will mess up sometimes, and I accept that that doesn't make me not deserving of love. And I understand that showing up for myself at the hardest points looks like doing what's hard in the moment, and showing up for myself through the ugly is what true unconditional self-love means. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to not my TED Talk, but yeah, I'm very passionate about this. I definitely feel like this has been coming up for me a lot this month. I've definitely been having to exercise this more than usual, so it's okay. We love it, and I love myself, and I love you.